short weeks away, and Run Pure Sports is gearing up for the season with the best deal in DFS.
For a limited time only, we are offering new members a 15% discount for the life of their subscription, including SaberSim subs. Simply use the promo code NFL15 when subscribing to take advantage of this great deal before our prices go up.
And at RPS, we don't just give you access to one sport. When you subscribe to our premium service, we give you access to all of our content, including NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA, and so much more.
And we're not going to charge extra for access to our preseason content either. Our memberships include all of our content, including the NFL preseason. The best DFS players in the industry give you access to their core plays and slate strategies for every sport and for every slate. Simplify your lineup building process by plugging in picks directly from the top players in the world. Watch our premium live streams to gain a huge edge on the competition. Our guys are live up to lock for the biggest slates, walking you through their last-minute decisions, analyzing breaking news and injury alerts for the major sports.
Again, for a limited time only, you can access our industry-leading DFS content for 15% off our already low price. SaberSim packages are included, so sign up today using the promo code NFL15 for 15% off your subscription for life and start building winning lineups today.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I just did the Christian Bale thing. Did you get that? Anyways, we got a college football show for you today. We've got Fat Rubio, aka Kirk. We have my man Bill. I love you, Kill Bill Walsh. Hello, Bruce. Wonderful to see you.
Good to
the
see
University of Kansas's bitches, the Texas Longhorns. Of course, we have Mangone, who has really invested a lot of time and effort into college football since we started Run Pure. I mean, I just remember the olden days when this place launched all those years ago, and it was just you, me, and Bruce. And look at you now. And then we got Snyder. I only thought you did golf, Snyder.
Oh yeah, we're gonna mix it up with some foots too.
Okay. And then Tony's just shaking his head. It's either a bad intro or something.
Yeah,
else.
I'm just wondering how I didn't get included in the college mix when I've played every slate since we opened, and I've been in 4 dub plays before this site.
You did not do a show with me and Mangone and Bruce.
What are you talking about? I've done so many college shows.
Not with me, Mangone, and Bruce.
You're out of your mind. Like, what you're saying is so incorrect.
When did Tony ever do a show with me, you, and Bruce? Never.
I mean,
I won't answer, but let them answer. I mean, have I done college stuff? Like, I don't even understand what Holden's saying.
With me.
Well, you've probably done like one show. Maybe I missed your one show. So when you say, "Oh, me, Bruce, and Mangone," no, I've done way more college than Holden has. So
that's
don't.
Not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that
I've done more shows than you.
Oh my God.
Mangone, Bruce. Bruce is the college dude. Who's done more shows, me or Holden?
It doesn't matter.
You said it was just you
we
three.
Did the whole, we did the whole first year together. The three of us. None you, not you.
Oh, you're
me, you, and Bruce. Not Tony.
Even Snyder's shaking his head at you.
Yeah, we had a bunch of shows last year without Holden. Big T was on there. Dunkel. All right.
The year before last year, we did shows.
Yeah.
True or false, Bruce? Can you fucking say something here?
Yeah, a couple years ago. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I forgot what you look like.
Even the dogs don't agree with you, Holden. I hear them barking. They're not happy. I've been in since the plays. I'm not happy either.
Yeah.
So to be fair, Holden did do shows with me, Bruce, and him to start the year for the first year. Yep. Year 2, Holden was not, but also to be on Tony's side, he's been in since the plays. He's been, grinding every college football slate.
I don't even know when I wouldn't have been on a show anyways. Where
first
was I?
Year you were
what
not
was
on
I doing?
Any shows.
First year you were, because like COVID hit and you were busy doing 1,000 other sports and 1,000 other things because there was too much going on. I mean, it was just insane. We had just.
I'm shipping tonight now. Holden pissed me off.
Like you weren't on college football shows because you were busy doing NBA shows and like just a million shows because like there was just too much going on and we couldn't be spread as thin as we are. So That's just why.
Mangone's trying to make me feel better, but it doesn't make up for Holden's hurt.
He doesn't need to make you feel better. You are not part of the posse. You're number one.
That's hurtful. Don't you dare say Big T's not a part of the posse. He's one of the soldiers. I won't stand for that.
He did not do that show that has now been replaced with the Friday News Dump. By the way, we're 8 days
I will say that's probably true. I don't do shows like early before like if it was a Saturday show, I wouldn't do a Saturday show on Friday. That's probably why I didn't do it. So you're probably onto something.
All right, boys, let's get into this. Before we get into it, let me say this. Hit the like button.
Snyder wearing a sweatshirt.
Snyder?
Chilly down here in the basement.
Got some no nibbly in there?
That's because Snyder's out here bulking so he can get ready for the slab. He's got no fat on him anymore. He's
going to get destroyed on the slab.
I know. Don't tell him that yet.
He might be 6th place in this stream. 7th counting Simon.
We're coming.
He might be able to take Holden, actually. He might be in 5th place.
I don't think so. Look how big that hoodie is on him.
I actually think Holden might whoop Snyder on the hoops. Holden was good before his injury. He stroked a few.
I'm saying I'm number 2 on this stream for sure. I'm number 2. I feel confident.
Did you hear that, Kurt?
Yeah.
Ooh, what is it?
He said he's number 2 on this stream. On the hardwood.
That's extremely hard to take.
That is
I'm going to get some Mangone giblets next March.
Listen, Kurt, slide in if you really want the action. Let me tell you, you're going to be dusted if you try.
Number 2 could have a couple different meanings here. So putting that out there.
Oh.
All right. Bruce.
We'll run it.
Let's go. Mr. College Football himself, you're back. You must be so excited about tonight. I like this West Virginia Pitt game, but we're not going to start with that. We're going to start with your overall thoughts on college football. And for anybody that hasn't played in a long time, you got super flex. Just give a little bit of the differences out there between NFL, college football, and then your thoughts.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of people stacking, and that's that's mainly a little bit of an edge. I know Tony does well with that. The super flex is almost always a quarterback unless it's a smaller slate. Just lock that in and move on. But yeah, just try to, you can stay chalky and still get a little bit different with some of these guys. You see a lot of times the chalk will win out. And then it might be a receiver or two that's 1 or 2% owned that somebody has, and that just wins the slate for them.
All right. So that's the first things first. What's the second thing here with tonight's slate? Any games in particular you're looking at? Any players in particular that are standing out? What are you seeing on the slate right now?
Yeah, I've loved the Penn State Purdue game all week. I think the total's too low. These teams run up tempo. They're both top 30 in pace, throw the ball over 55% of the time. I know Penn State wants to run the ball a little bit more this year, but their offensive line is still not that great. And Penn State brought in Manny Diaz on the defensive side, and we attacked them last year almost every slate when he was at Miami. So I love this game. It's just solid, and I bet the over already. It's just a really good game with really good cheap pieces.
Kurt, let's get you in here. Talk to me. What are you looking at on the slate right now?
John Rice Plumlee. I don't want to go too crazy on the game because it's going to be a blowout, but I think the 3/4 of action they'll get, I think we're going to see UCF put up a 40 burger pretty quickly. Oklahoma State, I'm really fixated on just this, like he said, the stacks, the Tennessee stacks, Oklahoma State stack, UCF stack, the Wake stack, the sneaky Mizzou stack that Snyder mentioned. And then I'm with Bruce. I like the Penn State Purdue game. I think it's because those teams have been so good to us in the past. It's like, why get different? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I don't mind either of them. And there's a lot of cross-off games. A whole lot of cross-off games for me. Like Fresno, Cal Poly, I don't want too much of that. So yeah, just stack it up, pick your spots, and go over.
Okay. Snyder?
Yeah, I'm looking at these teams with the big team totals that are going to put up a bunch of points tonight, like Tennessee. I think Missouri's kind of a sneaky stack there. I'm going to have some UCF guys there. There's a really good value play. that you can stack up with Plumlee, and that UCF game is probably going to be a pretty popular option. I'm going to roll with that. I'm kind of looking to fade the Minnesota head running back, Ibrahim, and go with the backup there, Potts. We'll get into that more as we get into that game, but he's coming back from an Achilles injury, and there ain't many guys coming back from Achilles injuries at full strength. So I'm going to be looking to Potts a little bit in that game, and Fresno State too. I love the running back there. I think they're just going to absolutely pound Cal Poly. So those are some of the things I'm looking at early on.
Mangone, what's popping right now?
News is what's popping. I need to know what's going to happen with this Oklahoma State running back situation. That's like a big key. I mean, that's going to reflect a lot of decisions that I make with some things. Because if we do have just like a cheap 3K running back that seems like a stone lock, well, this slate looks like a lot of the other slates we have. Like those past two slates, like there was like a 3K running back you needed. The other one was a 3K running back you needed. And then once you go from there, it's easier to get guys in there. Like Hendon Hooker, I think he's a great play in general, but he becomes an even better play if you have all that value to be able to just secure that nice floor ceiling combination. But you are worried a little bit about the blowout. So I'm definitely arm in arm with Bruce on this Penn State Purdue game being a great game stack opportunity. But I'm really kind of waiting on some of this news so then I can make my pivots to try and figure out like my core completely. So that's kind of some stuff that we're going to be trying to figure out. Maybe we'll get the news on the show. Maybe it'll be in the Discord chat, but either way, we'll do our best to break it down for you guys.
And you already know the news that came out already with Blaine Green being out, Bray's out, and Jake Schultz is out. So those are the three guys over at Okie State. They're already out.
The Richardson one's the biggest one. Right. I think that's one we're still uncertain on. The Bray one matters for sure. Not saying that doesn't, but the Richardson one really just shakes a ton up. And let me tell you today, like running back, receiver, I know Kurt said there was a bunch of cross-offs. Like some of these guys that could be cross-offs, so they could absolutely just smash. And one thing I would think about with lineup construction, like make sure you're not like taking everyone from different blowouts because you just might hit like the wrong side where if it's kind of like just rolling dice, like one of them's just not going to hit and it might not go your way. So I'm trying to kind of find like one game that's pretty competitive, load up on that, and then find some lopsided spots where I hope I can hit those ceiling games.
Right. DeAndre and the other guy that was out was DeAndre Jackson. So Jackson tweeted yesterday that he wasn't playing. So a lot of openings here. That's what we got going on. Tony, more than the actual plays, I want to get some game theory from you. So for everybody that's used to playing NFL, right? They're coming over. Maybe you're trying out college football for the first time. What are some of the things you can use to get a little advantage in college?
Yeah, Bruce talked about it a little bit out of the gate, but this game stacking is just so massive in college because once it starts snowballing in college, it happens. It doesn't happen in the NFL often. It does happen sometimes in the NFL, as we've seen in the past with some Monday night games that went crazy. I think it was Rams, Chiefs, one Monday night game or whoever it was. But in college, it snowballs a lot. Once they start scoring and the defense can't stop them, it just keeps going. And I mean, they'll score in 20 seconds and the other team will go score in 30 seconds. And it snowballs in a hurry and people just don't game stack. They just don't do it. And I just pay attention to the totals. I do a pretty good job, I think, of staying away from games that I just don't see exploding. I'm not near as high on the Penn State game as these guys are. Totals low, tons of chalk in that game too. Everyone's going to love these Penn State receivers. Everything I've heard, people just love them. Low total though, conference game right out of the gate. I don't feel that great about that game when I can play teams like Tennessee and get a guaranteed 50 spot on the board, even though you're not going to play full 4 quarters. Doesn't matter in college if they score 50 plus with ease. And man, I'm going to take those easy points with Tennessee. We got our hero Plumlee, who has been a hero of everyone in DFS for 2-3 years now. He played receiver last year, back where he belongs this year in the hero spot, nut matchup. Man, I don't know how you really get away from that tonight. He's and all season for that matter. He's just wait till I think he plays Louisville next week. I heard. Whew, man. That game will be something to see too from both teams. That could be a snowball spot for sure. But quarterback, for example, like Bruce said, I'm always going to play 2 outside of just insane situations. And it seems easy, like on the surface, it seems easy, but people don't always do it. So just the little edges that you can grind. Like what if they told us in the NFL, you can play 2 quarterbacks? I mean, people would do it, but college for some reason, people don't force it in there. And even if that means you got to play a cheap guy somewhere to do it, one of the things I do, I think more than anyone, is just punt a running back. No one does that. Tonight we got some, even without the Okie State news, we got some 3K running backs that are projected double digits. And when these 3K running backs, it's like my favorite roster construction, stack up something, play some cheap running backs, especially in these blowout spots where these 3K running backs, a couple of them, I mean, I don't have it up in front of me because I was trying to finish this baseball, but I know there's a couple names without the Okie State news that are in good spots in the 3K range. So as we go through, we can talk more about them. That's my preferred construction, though, honestly. No one punts running back because, honestly, like, floors are better running back, so it's kind of stupid when you think of floors. But to win a tournament, I think it's great. And when these guys crush, you're so unique and you just fly to the top of leaderboards. It's worked for me for a lot of time. Obviously high variance because sometimes they just don't do anything. But even in that case, I don't really see the downside to it, to a 3K guy, because you're getting so much upside. Slates like this, though, I think people overthink the positions. I mean, there's really only a couple quarterbacks that you can really even play. And as we go through, we'll talk about them. But, man, Hooker, Plumlee, Emory Jones, I don't think anyone's going to play. Just so much upside there. So we can talk more as we go through, though.
All right, Bruce, let's start with you here. You want to go game by game or position by position? What's going to make it easier for you?
What do y'all prefer? I know we've been doing game by game. All
right, then let's go game
works.
by game.
Yeah,
that's what we've been doing. We got big booth. We got 5 analysts. So you can be as detailed or as short as you would like to be. Let's start. Though we got this Tennessee game, and I know Snyder was saying, "Hey, I kind of like Tennessee here." Talk to me. Let's start with game number 1, Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee is heavy favorites here. Hendon Hooker's going to be chalky. He's going to be maybe 30-40% owned, which he should be, as upside with his legs and with his arm. His primary target is Cedric Tillman, deep threat, and he has 40-point upside here. So it's kind of hard to fade. He is 8,500, the most expensive receiver on the slate. So you do have to look at that a little bit. See if you can fit him in. Maybe if some of these Oklahoma State running backs come open, we could fit him in there. Hyatt is also there for Tennessee. He's one of their big targets. Supposedly had a big spring and practices leading up to this game. Also Brew McCoy, 4K wide receiver, transferred in from USC and was a huge recruit there. He's also solid. And then they have the 2 backs plus the 3K back, Sampson. So, you got to pick your poison there. I wouldn't play like Hooker and then a running back, expensive running back like Small. That's kind of spreading yourself thin. So, and then Ball State, they have some good wide receivers there. You can kind of just pick one like Jackson, the transfer from Cincinnati. He's solid. And I don't mind him at all.
All right. Mangone, you want to clean up here? Anything else you want to go look at from Tennessee, Ball State?
Yeah. So like a big decision point to really talk about on this slate is what do you do between like Tillman and Hyatt, right? Because like Tillman, he's going to be 8.5K, but Hyatt's 5.5. I think that's a real big decision point that you're going to have to make. I do agree with Bruce on saying like, hey, like I think Jackson is a good play on Ball State as a run back, but don't sleep on, our boy, Yohines Tyler. And I mean, that's just too good of a name not to mention. So Yohines is definitely in play as well. I think more people go to Jackson. I think they're both in play though. Mainly the receivers to look at are Tillman, Hyatt, Tyler Jackson. If you're looking to game stack this one up, I think you can go both the receivers if you want. I think a lot of people are going to think about going maybe that like Hyatt route just because it helps make things easier. I guess the only argument you can make against that is maybe people just jam in more of these like mid-tier receivers. I mean, there's just a lot of good position players on this slate in general. So overall though, I like the idea of going Hooker with Hyatt because I just think it helps my overall lineup construction the most. But if as I run stuff and let's say we get enough value, then I'm glad to go up to Tillman. So overall, I think that this is a great game to get exposure to. I like Big T's thoughts on it. Definitely going to look to play this game, not going to ignore it completely. And I think it's one that you got to consider getting exposure to as the run back with Tyler or Jackson, because listen, they're going to be down all game. They're going to be passing a ton. It's just the perfect game script. It's 4 quarters of just them throwing the ball.
Okay. Snyder, you like Tennessee? You want to expound?
Yeah, I'm going to be mainly on the passing game with Hendon Hooker and Hyatt. Hyatt's my favorite over Tillman. Tillman's a little too expensive. It's easier to fit in Hyatt, but Hyatt will probably be more popular, though, ownership-wise, versus Tillman, since it's easier to fit him. So I definitely am going to have a little of both, maybe a couple double stacks, too. I like Brew McCoy, too, for Tennessee. He's 4K. I think he's one of the value guys I'm going to be looking to get a little different with maybe like a Hooker, Hyatt, McCoy stack, or a Hooker, Tillman, McCoy stack, or something like that. Not really looking at too much from the Ball State coming back. So I think over on FanDuel, I'm going to be playing Jabari Small more so over on FanDuel. We're looking for more like touchdown variants over there. So I think he's a guy to play on, because I don't see him catching many balls out of the backfield. So I'm going to be playing Small more over on FanDuel today versus DraftKings today.
All right, Kurt, Tennessee.
So in my MME, I'm with them on the passing game and everything. I'm like slightly under on Hooker. I think he's going to have a great year, but I think this might be a spot where they pull him up to 3 quarters. I think there's a chance that Small can steal all the touchdowns in this one. So I'm going to be over on Small. I think he can get 3 tuds in the first 3 quarters.
3 tuds, you say?
3 tuds for Small.
Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff, Kurt. Tony, how do you want to attack this Tennessee game?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a perfect example of people don't take the free squares in college football like Kurt. Like, Hooker's a free square. He's going to get you 35, 40 points. He'll come in only 35% owned, which is 65% too low.
I'm saying less than that.
Yeah, I mean, he won't come in lower than that. I mean, he's got by far the best projection on the slate. He's in the best spot of the slate. Like, he's just the easiest play. And this is why I love college football, because people don't take the free squares. They try to get cute, and you just take the free squares. And the best part is everyone's going to play him with Hyatt. If you play him with like Tillman, like no one's going to play Tillman, and Tillman could get you like 40 himself. And I know you don't like to, no one likes to, this is where you got to get uncomfortable in college, and people don't do it. Like, do you want to spend $8,500 on a receiver when it's a blowout game? Hell no. I don't either. No one does, though. That's what you got to tell yourself. No one wants to play a receiver at $8,500 in a blowout game. Just say it out loud to yourself when you're building your teams. Everyone's going to go to Hyatt. Everyone's going to play guys like Brew McCoy to fit in there with Hooker. Don't be scared to play Tillman with him. I mean, no one's going to do that. Like, I bet Tillman, that combination is like under 10% owned when it's the 2 best plays of the whole slate. Only in college football can you get the 2 best plays combined under 10% owned. That's why I love college football. I agree with Mangone, though. The other side, don't ignore Jackson and Tyler at great price points, 4,600, 4,900. I think Ball State can score a little bit on this team, and that's another reason I like Hooker, because if they can keep it, I don't know, within like 3-4 touchdowns, I mean, Hooker will stay in there into somewhat late. I mean, he might only get 3 quarters, like Kurt said, but either way, I think they can score enough at these price points to really get it done. And if I'm going heavy on a team, I like to at least play something back, not a full game stack, but definitely one of these guys on all of my teams with Hooker. So all my teams, because I'm playing Hooker on all my teams, I'm not fading him 100%, all 150. No way I'm fading that guy. It's stupid. Like, it's not a good move. So I'm going to be in on that. The running backs are where I'm a little off. I don't like playing the starting running backs in blowout spots as much. That's kind of where I shift a little bit different than the field, I think. I would actually play, I seen Bruce had this guy listed, 3K running back, like I talked about it, Dylan Sampson. He's not projected good. He's not going to be owned. He could play the whole 4th quarter at 3K, and I think he actually blends together with Hooker and Tillman nicely, because if Hooker and Tillman crush, maybe Sampson comes in and cleans it up in the 4th at 3K, and he'll be 1% owned. Like, that's how I like to build college football teams. So I think that's it. I mean, yeah, Hyatt's a great play. I don't mind playing Hyatt too with him. What happens if Ball State scores 3 touchdowns in this game? The people with players at 10:30, 10 o'clock, they're going to be stone dead by the time the game even starts.
One more thing to mention, Tony, like Bruce had on the playbook the other day, he had the UNC backup running backs, and like they were on the winner, like 25 DK points. Like that can happen. It's part of the range of outcomes. Don't completely ignore those guys. Like, so I remember looking at that winning team. I had one that had like whatever his name is, Bowens from Hawaii, and he was hurt, and I was pissed. And I looked at the top of the leaderboard, and I was like, oh, great. Look, that cheap running back that I considered playing on some teams, he ended up crushing. So it's like, yeah, these backup running backs can get here in these spots where it's an absolute just huge spot where they're going to just dominate.
Yep. I think it's good moves too. It's just how I think you should construct rosters, and I don't know. Yeah. I mean, you got to take advantage of these good spots and make other people make the hard decisions. I just don't think people go with the upside enough in college.
Guys and ladies, hit the like button. We're at 68. And I need to tell you about our current promotion, of course, which is what? NFL 15% off the lifetime of your subscription. So this is not a monthly thing. This is you sign up for a monthly plan, you're getting 15% off for the lifetime of your subscription. So right now, what do we got? College football going on. So you're getting all our premium college football content. I'm just looking at it right now. The playbook is up. Who did the playbook today, guys?
It was me.
All right. Good job with that. Congratulations. We got Coors.
Big T. This is where Holden showed his hand. Bruce always does the playbook. You're not the CFB guy.
Thank you.
I never said I was invited to host the show tonight. So I said, of course I will. These guys obviously need some help. So
hold on. One last thing I want to ask about that game. It's important. It's more important than your read. Who's in the slot? Who's in the slot, Bruce? Who's in the slot? Is it Tyler or is it Jackson? Which is the guy? Because last week I remember not playing a slot receiver and I was tilted about it. And I was like, those slot receivers in college football are more valuable.
Yeah, I think it's Jackson. Just looking at, he was in the slot 41% of the time last season. So yeah, it should be Jackson.
Cool.
Okay, can I try and get some new subscribers, Mangone?
Yes, you can. Now you can.
Keep
now
talking
the
about
important
the
things
second
are
string
over,
center.
you can make the
yeah.
push.
Okay. So NFL 15% off lifetime of your subscription. Go sign up right now. You get everything. Bruce put everything together here for the college football. You get Big T scores for that. NFL. I mean, what are we? 8 days? No, hold on. A week from today, right? A week from today, we got Showdown Thursday night. So you're going to want to get in for the best Showdown contest content in the business. You'll get our core plays. You get the cash pool. You get everything. Hoop, JSU, AP Mangone, all the guys. Tony, obviously. And if I'm leaving anybody out, I think the world of you anyway. So Tambo, tons of NFL's coming up here. Let's go. NFL 15. If you haven't already signed up, let's get going here. Game number 2, guys. I don't know if at this pace we're going to get through all the games before kickoff, but Mangone, let me start with you. Central Michigan, Oklahoma State. And I just want to bring it to you, though, because we're still waiting on that big injury news, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to say about this game until I have the news, but hey, once we get the news, that's going to change everything. You can play, I believe in that game, Nichols, right? Like he's a pretty interesting option that you could go to, but I just don't need to do it. So I think overall, I'm just kind of waiting on news on this game so we can make it quick.
All right, Bruce.
You probably need to play Richardson if he's in, confirmed. He's cheap. Well, he's not super cheap, but he's not the most expensive back on the slate. I've seen some people talking about playing Spencer Sanders. He's a tilt fest, very inaccurate with the football. So I only like him in GPPs. And then the Central Michigan running back, of course, Lou. What's his name?
Nichols.
Lou Nichols, yes, sir. Lou LN3. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. So he's definitely in play. If for some reason they fall behind, he can catch some balls and maybe score a touchdown or two for you to get you there. I guess these Oklahoma State receivers are going to be in play too. If Bray's out, there are going to be some solid plays there. you have Braden Johnson, Presley, and Rashad Owens is pretty cheap too. So all those guys are in play.
Okay, very good. Snyder, you want to chime in on our second game here?
Definitely. I'm looking towards Richardson on FanDuel and on DraftKings. Definitely need to keep your eyes out and ears out for any news that could drop. He's speculative. He could miss the game or was questionable, or there was some weird news going around. So keep your eyes open for that. If he does happen to mix, I think it's Jaden Nixon. 3.5K is going to be a very, very strong play and will be a chalkier play. But I haven't heard anything concrete yet. We're kind of keeping our eyes open for that. I do think a lot of the ownership from Bray is going to go to Brandon Johnson. He's $1,500 cheaper, 4.3K on DraftKings. I think he's going to be the main beneficiary to catch all the late steam there. But definitely keeping the eyes out for news here.
Hey, Kurt, you got any thoughts there on Johnson, Brandon Johnson?
I like it. I'm playing him. I hope he doesn't get steamed up too much with like the uncertainty on all the news. Besides, I think it came out 4 hours ago that Richardson Bray was out. So I hope he doesn't get too much. I'm gonna try to get over on him. I'm gonna have some Lou Nichols, but really, I know I'm under on Hooker, but like Sanders is, if you have the salary, just find it and go up to Hooker instead of Sanders, because the floor is so much better and the ceiling's probably higher for Hooker as well. So just find the salary and go up to Hooker.
And we have Tony to chime in lastly on this game. Tony, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm a little annoyed that the news is hitting because I was going to fade this game for sure. I hate Spencer Sanders. He always sucks. Once a year, he'll go off and just ruin a slate. He'll crush. But every other slate, he'll get hurt. He'll roll an ankle. He's just terrible. And on a slate where we got Plumlee, Hooker, Emory Jones, sneaky, like I talked about, why in the world would you play Spencer Sanders, especially with these other receivers that are out now? Who knows what's going on with these other guys? There's no way I'm playing Spencer Sanders ever. I hope people play him. Rest of the game, we just got to wait on news. Obviously, if he's out, like Snyder said, Nixon, Ollie Gordon, it looks like, are the two guys, 3.5 and 3.0. Both would be in play 100%. That's why you got to be in the Discord for sure over at Run Pure. Bruce always first to the line with information for the people. And college football, it's huge. You'll see it every Saturday as we get going. You got to stay in there like basketball, because all it takes is late news on one spot. The whole day shifts, like Mangone said, I think earlier. If this guy's out, you have to play the backups. If he's in, I think you have to play him. He was the one guy I wasn't going to fade in this game. Although now I'm definitely nervous. Even if we see he's in, I'll still be a little nervous just because of the news. But I think he's a great play. We just got to wait, though.
Yeah. And just to help you guys out, if you want to find out as quick as possible, you can follow a guy, the Oklahoma State beat writer, Scott Wright. And it's Scott, WRIGHT, on Twitter, at Scott Wright, OK. And that's one of their beat writers. And I think that'll be helpful to you. And actually, you can tell us if it pops up and I'm doing something here. And the other guy you want to follow is Jacob Unruh. It's Jacob and then UNRUH. Jacob Unruh. JACOBUNRUH. All right, let's get into our next game then. Game number 3, West Virginia, Pitt. The Fax Man likes this. A lot of points in this game, Tony. A lot of points in Pitt and West Virginia. You want to listen to the other guys talk first?
No, I'm actually prepared today. I had all my stuff done before the show because I knew I had baseball and college lock. So I'm actually good today. This would be the game stack of the night for me, though. I don't think there's another game outside of the Tennessee game where I talked about the two receivers. Not going to play Ball State's quarterback, though. But this would be the game I would game stack. You got smaller total, but close spread, which is a rarity on this slate. And you got a bunch of new things going on in this game where I think both coaching staffs are new. I think Bruce is definitely better to talk about this.
Yep,
but West Virginia's going air raid, I believe, which is good because Pitt runs Bruce can make fun of me if I say any of this wrong, but Pitt always does the pass funnel, I think, going against the air raid, which definitely opens some upside. And these would be the games that I would fade Hooker. So I said I'd play him 100%. That's 100% in my 150, but I will have some game stacks of this game where I would play both quarterbacks in this game just because of the prices. 6K and 6,300 for quarterbacks are cheap. I don't like them near as much as the other guys, Hooker and Plumlee, not near as much. But in tournaments, sometimes these game stacks can just bring you to the top, and that's definitely going to be where I'm at. You got 2 former USC guys. I think they were there at the same time, Slovis and Daniels. So you got to have a little bit of rivalry built up in there amongst them. The bad part about both of them, I kind of think they both suck, is my opinion. Slovis' arm looks dead to me. JT Daniels couldn't beat out whatever our dude from Georgia's name is that won the title for us. What's his name, Bruce?
Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, Bennett beat him clearly out of the job, then won the title. I don't think either one of these guys is great, but I do think we could see points in this game. Pittsburgh's going to more of a pro-style offense, which means this running back, no idea how to pronounce his name, Abaconda. He's going to run like a freaking anaconda.
Very good.
Yeah, the anaconda. The anaconda. I like that. But 6,100, I definitely like that spot. Receiver, Mumpfield looks like a stud to me. I know last year, Addison or whatever his name was, total stud. I could see them going to more of a similar role to that. Well, there's a lot of unknowns in this game because of 2 new systems, lots of receivers. But you know what that means? Perfect game stack. You can throw a bunch of these pieces into the soup bottle and just see what comes out of it. Like if you're playing 20 teams, maybe you do 4 teams and just game stack it because both teams have 3 or 4 receivers. Don't play, set your rules, play 1 or 2 per. But Mumpfield, Jared Wayne, I liked him. I think it's the same dude as last year. That's why Bruce should talk before me sometimes. But I remember him crushing in the bowl game, I think. I like him. This dude, Bub Means, 3,900, good price. And then the West Virginia guys, none of them stick out. It's the air raid. I mean, you don't really feel confident, but this is a tournament spot. No one in cash game, all these guys will come in low owned. So when this game ends up 48-45, you just win all the money. And that's the goal in tournaments. So I will definitely have game stacks, but in like my main team or something, the only guy I would play is the running back, Anaconda.
The only guy you'll play from this game.
In my main teams, yeah,
Okay.
but definitely game stacks.
All right, very good. Snyder, you're shaking your head. Yes, up and down. Take it.
Yeah, I agree with what Big T was saying, but I think I'm only going to be looking to play Anaconda or whatever you pronounce his name. Anaconda.
He's Anaconda forever now.
Yeah,
the Anaconda.
I've heard the coach Narduzzi was talking about how he was upset with Whipple never running the ball. So that's the one thing that kind of worries me a little bit with the game stack here is I think Pittsburgh's going to slow it down a lot more this year. They're going to get back to establishing it, and I think Anaconda makes for a solid play there. But I definitely agree with the game stack there. I mean, it's 6-7 point total. The game total isn't that low. I mean, it's still like 55. So I mean, you could definitely see these guys put up some points here with West Virginia going more pass centric this year. But definitely interesting on Anaconda for sure, though, in this game.
It's only 50.5 total that I see.
Oh, it dropped. Yeah, I guess I just have the opening lines wrote down.
It is. I mean, and it's low. I mean, 50 in college is low.
Yeah, it's low.
But still.
It just dropped. Why did it drop?
When I did my thing earlier today, it was that low. So it didn't drop like right now.
I just seen some news on Twitter. It looks like Dominic Richardson is fielding kicks during special teams warmups from Scott Wright.
So what does that do for you?
He's definitely in.
I think he's going to play then for sure. I mean, what do you think, Bruce?
Yeah. It seems like he's going to play. So
what was the news that made people think he might be out? What was?
There was some news on a message board, and someone asked if Bray and Richardson were out. So they saw that Bray was out. You know,
Presley and Richardson are fielding kicks, is what Wright said.
Yeah. So it looks like he's in.
So how do you want to handle that now, Bruce? How does that change the slate?
Yeah, I think he was one of the better running back plays for me before, and he still is. So I just I'm just going to keep him up there. I have him pretty high on the playbook, I think.
Mangone, is that the news you were waiting for?
Yeah, that was the news. Definitely waiting on and trying to figure out what to do with. So I guess we'll get that might change up my approach a little bit for sure. So I don't know. I want to wait for like the full confirmation, but I'll have to start shifting and changing some stuff. And I'm not super excited about the West Virginia Pitt game. I kind of agree with Big T Steak. If you're going to shove on it, like shoving it all the way, there is the air raid. I totally get it. We do got both the former USC quarterbacks going against each other. And we get what's his name? Slovis. Remember Big T? I wonder if it's going to rain. He's going to get hurt again.
It's so bad.
We hate Slovis.
The downside to the game stack theory is I do think both quarterbacks suck. So it might not be the best move, but game stacks can get you there.
Now, the problem, Big T, is there's not a lot of good game stack spots on slate. That is why I think the Purdue Penn State is a good game stack spot. And I just don't know if everyone's doing it. I mean, I guess we'll see. I think
people don't game stack for sure.
Correct. They're going to get pieces, but they're not going to full on shove on it. And that's the thing that I'm going back and forth on. Do I do this Penn State, Purdue game stack, or do I go with more of the Tennessee Ball State and then kind of figure out what to do from there? That's kind of my approach right now that I'm like messing around with.
All right. Kurt, real quick, anything else to say? Then I'll get to Bruce. Then we got to start hustling, guys. We got 8 games and 40.
We got some easy games though. We'll cruise through a few.
I agree with all I say. Pitt's going to establish it. The air raid offense, I think if you're doing hand builds, pick one of those West Virginia receivers. There's a good chance one of them goes off tonight because, that's just the type of offense that Graham Harrell is going to run. Mine's going to be Sam James. No issue if you want to play any of the guys.
Is this the same dude that's been there forever?
Yeah.
The same Sam James.
But now he's got Graham Harrell as his offensive coordinator, so it's different. So, yeah, that's all I got for this game. I reiterate what all that they said.
You're overlooking the two best receiving plays in that game. I think
Smith,
Reese Smith, and Bartholomew for Pitt, the tight end. They like to. The BC offensive coordinator, all he does is run the football and throw it to the tight ends. So those are the two guys that I just love there. Bartholomew was great last year at tight end.
Bruce says play a tight end.
That's definitely Bruce's move is definitely the tight ends. Always bookmark them.
Yeah. Love it.
All right. So we got how many more games? 8 games. Let's get going then. Before I do that, though, let me remind you, what do we got? 315 watching, 80 something hitting the like button. Come on, help us out with the algorithm. These guys are doing it for free. We've got I don't know if you're all doing it for free, but some people are. And then the code NFL 15% off lifetime subscription. And we were just talking about Discord too. It's not only the stuff you're getting on our premium shows behind the paywall and in print, you're getting Discord. So you get to ask Tony, Bruce, Snyder, Kurt, Mangone, all these guys, all of our coordinators in Discord helping you out. So hit the like button. Let's get going here. And we'll move on to our next game. UCF in action tonight, gentlemen. Bruce, we want anything to do with this game?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be on John Reese Plumlee here just because he's a running quarterback and he's pretty inexpensive. I can see him easily going over 100 yards on the ground. Maybe in the first half, he's that shifty. He played wide receiver for Ole Miss last season and quarterback before that. So there's been some slates. I think he put up 40 points against Bama one time, and we all had him. So it was a good day.
And against LSU, he's had a couple 40 pieces along the way.
Yeah, those are some good days. I love those. And then the UCF wide receivers are in a good spot here and very inexpensive, other than O'Keefe and Hudson. Hudson's actually cheap on FanDuel. You can play him there for $5,900. Javon Baker at $3,500, 4-star wide receiver from that transferred over from Bama. He's $3,500. And he's starting. That's just too cheap. O'Keefe, just like Tillman, I think can break a slate. Had 7 touchdowns last year, and he's just a big play, explosive guy.
Okay, Kurt, you want to chime in on this one here?
Yeah, I love John Reese. I don't think he's high enough owned. I think Bowser's a little bit too expensive. He could fall in the end zone a couple of times, but I'm not paying that. So I'm just going to go passing game. In my core, I got John Reese Plumlee, and Javon Baker. No issue if you want to sprinkle in the other receivers, but give me the guy at 3K. They can catch a 70-yard touchdown.
Okay. Snyder?
Yeah, I definitely like Plumlee there. Last time he played quarterback, he had over 1,000 yards and 12 rushing touchdowns in that year, so definitely on him. And I'm looking to stack him up with Baker at 3.5K. Definitely love the value with him.
Okay. Mangone, did you chime in yet? No, let's get your thoughts.
No, I would say it's kind of simple. It's like, Plumlee, we obviously like him. Plum Dog's going to get the job done. And then it's Baker, or it's like, listen, O'Keefe at 7.6. If you are going to have like the salary to make it happen, like you can spend up at receiver and it'd be a really nice contrarian way to go. So like, don't completely ignore that. Like there are some guys up here that like at receiver that have the ability to break a slate and just get you like a nice 30 piece. And you're sitting real nice when they're in that single digit own. So I think Ryan O'Keefe, maybe he's not single digits, but low enough where I think he can definitely get the job done and be in a nice stack with Plumlee. Not saying you have to go out of your way to jam him in and get 50%, but definitely getting a little exposure to him is not a bad idea.
Okay.
I wanted to say one more thing. I forgot. On FanDuel, it's super easy to jam in O'Keefe with Plumlee. I found out with a couple value plays that we'll get to here in a little bit too. So definitely on him on FanDuel.
Also, Hyatt on FanDuel, way too cheap.
Yeah.
Worth mentioning.
Hyatt is too cheap on FanDuel. All right. That's good to know. Get that out there. We'll move on to our next game. VMI and Wake. How about the Virginia Military Institute getting on a slate here? Love to
How come
see
I
it.
don't get to talk about that game? That's bullshit.
No, you were shaking your head. And that was it. There's 6 of us.
Big T loves Plum Dog.
Yeah.
You love the Plum Dog, Big T?
I mean, the dude's won me more money than any college players won me. Now he gets the best possible system for himself. And we got the best receiver play on the whole slate in this game that I don't know if anyone talked about, but Bruce probably did. Javon Baker. I mean, 3,500. He's a stud. He's got a high projection. He's a free square. Play Plumlee. Play Javon Baker. Enjoy life.
Beautiful to hear.
I love that.
It's very simple. Very simple. Bruce, you want to take on Wake and VMI? Is it a quick one, or do you got some plays here?
Yeah, VMI is not very good. Gave up 250 yards on the ground last year in their loss to Kent State. So we could see Wake run the ball quite a bit. The thing that sucks, though, is that these Wake running backs are so expensive. So it's hard to play both of them. It's hard to play one, to be honest, unless it's a GPP. They do have some big play wide receivers. But yeah, they're expensive. A.T. Perry is back, Big T. I know you love that guy. Donovan Green is also back from injury. So they have some really good wide receivers there as well.
Okay. Mangone.
Are you on the Wake game?
Wake and VMI, my friend.
Okay, yeah. Perry's the main guy to talk about, right? Just I think he's one of those other guys, kind of like O'Keefe. He kind of fits that similar bucket. Like guy you spend up on and like can easily break a slate out of nowhere. Not saying you need to game stack him up or put him in with the quarterback, but like as just a guy that could just be single digits and just like break it open. Like Perry's certainly in play. So not someone I'm ignoring for sure in my pool.
Okay. Anybody else want to chime in on this VMI Wake game, or are we moving
I'm
on?
off it.
You're off.
I got Green in my
altogether?
core, but I like Perry as well. But I got Green in my core
Perry as well. All right, good to hear.
So another 3K guy that's projected good. Rashad Raymond, 3K running back. No one's going to play him. Another guy that'll be 3% owned. He's 3K. Could he suck?
Yeah.
Sure. But he's 3K.
Yeah.
What if he doesn't?
He had, I think, 70 yards against Kent State last year in mop-up duty. So, yeah, I included him in there, and he's starting. So,
Starting running back for 3K against Wake, like, sign me up.
Anybody else from this one, Tony?
No,
That's
definitely no one from Wake. I mean, they have if they didn't have 3 running backs, I would like one, but I mean, one of them might crush. This other team's terrible. Wake loves to run it. I see no reason to play any Wake guys.
New QB.
Yeah.
Run it.
Hey, Snyder, to the next game. What do we got? Missouri and La Tech. My question would be, because I think you said you were interested in Missouri, is Brady Cook in the mix here?
Yeah, I like Missouri here. I like the Brady Cook stack. Luther Brown is one of the top recruits in the nation last year, came to Missouri. pretty much was the only guy listed on the depth chart as a starter. So I think he's going to get a lot of run. The thing is interesting with Luther Brown here is Luther Burner is he's priced up on DK, but over on FanDuel, he's like min price. So he's going to be super popular over on FanDuel. And I think people are going to get the ownership over there. I don't think he's going to be as popular over on DraftKings. So I'm going to play him on DraftKings some at 6.7K. I think he's a great option there. Missouri's a pretty big favorite here. I think they're going to put up some points. I do like Schrader too as a value running back here. He's 3.2K. I'm going to be pretty high on Schrader as well for Missouri.
Tony, you got any Missouri here?
Man, Missouri, let me pull it back up. Missouri, oh yeah, they got this stud receiver. Again, I always defer to Bruce because he knows more than me about this, but this Burden dude looks like a total stud to me. Everyone on the depth chart I looked at is like an or. Is this right? But Burden is just a total stud. And 6,700, he's going to freaking smash. And Schrader, another 3K running back, projected for pretty good. So I think these cheap running backs are good plays tonight, and no one's really going to play them. So that's where I'm at.
Bruce, you on the Luther Burden train?
Yeah, especially on FanDuel, he's too cheap. So yeah, he's gonna be in my core there. He's just gonna be the guy this year. Probably see maybe 7-10 targets.
So you like him more on FanDuel, but you'll still be rolling out with him in DraftKings?
Yeah, maybe some GPPs for sure. He won't see the ownership at 6,700.
Okay, good. All right, Kurt, Missouri.
Want some game stacks with them, but I'm not really playing them as one-offs. Like I got the Cook and then Burden stack with a little bit of the white running back, Cody Schrader, but just game stacks for me.
Mangone, Missouri.
Yeah, more on FanDuel. I like the Cook Burton stack. Have it over there. It's just dirt cheap to make happen. So that's where I'm mainly playing it. I feel like I overlooked it a little bit over on DK. So I want to. Actually, it's not on the DK slate, right? Yeah, I don't think it's on. No, it is on there. I'm messed up with my look, everything I'm looking at. But the prices on Cook is like he's 7.9, and then let me see what Burton's price is because Burton is where's he at? I don't know. I can't find it right now. I got too much going on over them. But either way, I'm definitely looking at that Missouri stack. I have it in my FanDuel core. It's up on the site, so I've definitely got Burton. I got Cook. That's going to be the stack that I go with as like a cheap way to be able to get in a lot of really good guys up top. And like on FanDuel specifically, just something to call out. If you look, something to mention is like Tillman. He's a great play. So is Ibrahim. But these guys, they can gain a lot of ownership up top on FanDuel where you can find some really interesting pivots. Like I said, O'Keefe is going to be cheap. Tinsley at 8.5. People just aren't going to him for Penn State, where he could easily be a guy that breaks a slate because he feels a little more pricey over there at 8.5. So sometimes on a site like FanDuel, where the pricing is softer, it's okay to overspend on a guy, especially if you have these clear-cut values that you're already jamming in there. So overall, Missouri guys kind of help me do that. That little bit of stack with a Luther Burden combined with Cook, it helps me be able to find some contrarian guys up top to make things a little bit different.
All right, very good. Like button would be great. Let's get 150. Should probably be the number. We got a nice crowd in here today, a little bit over 300 for this big 11-game Thursday night slate. I'm just going to go back to the start of the panel here, and I'm going to hit you up, Bruce, on this next one. Purdue, Penn State. Woo. This is an interesting one. No, you want to do a little? Who's our guy here? Doru, right?
Yeah, he's been around forever. I don't love the Purdue running game as much. I know I love this game, but I just think they rotate a little bit more. So I'm mainly going to stick to the passing games. Penn State threw it 55% of the time last year. Purdue well over 60% of the time. So, I love my guy, Aiden O'Connell. 6,100 just seems way too low. Sean Clifford at 6,500, especially if he runs a couple in, he could easily get there as well. I'm pretty much staying away from the running games. Penn State just divides their snaps up too much. And, if I was going to play somebody, it would be Singleton, just because he was the number one running back recruit in the country. So he's definitely interesting at that price. I'm definitely going to be over the field this week on Parker Washington. I see Tinsley getting a lot more ownership, and I actually think Washington is the better player, and he has better rapport with Clifford as well. The two Purdue guys that I want to jump on are Payne Durham, the tight end there. He's the top receiver that's returning for Purdue. And I also like Tyrone Tracy. Supposedly he's going to be used in that Rondale Moore role. And I think he's going to smash at that 5,700. No one's going to play him at that price either. So I love those two guys.
For anybody that's waiting for the course to come up, if you're a member, we got a whole bunch of cores up right now. I know Tony's will be up soon. You kill Bill Walsh. That's Bruce, I should say. He's got most of his core up. Snyder, Susie, Curtin, Kate Fallick. Mangone's building his right now. So we have a whole bunch of our coordinators on the course tonight. Again, you still got 30 minutes till kickoff. You got plenty of time to get in. NFL 15 at runpuresports.com. NFL 15% off the life of your subscription. Let's kick this next game over to you, Kurt. Anything in this game? PSU, Purdue.
I really like the Purdue stack with Aiden O'Connell. I play their quarterbacks all the time. There's big ceilings. The floor is kind of gross, just like last year. But man, the quarterbacks in this system, when they go off, they go off. Just pick a receiver to pair them with. You can go with Bruce, and I love the thought of hearing a Rondale Moore role. That just gets me 6 to midnight real quick. And then when Bruce hit the tight end, I like it. So pair him with those two guys. I don't love any of the two running backs. Penn State, I'm excited to see what Singleton does, the new recruit. But Penn State running back game is just scary to me. Don't love it. Washington, Tinsley, I'm going to have exposure. But it's another good game stack, and I like Aiden O'Connell overweight.
What about your guy, Brock Thompson?
I do have some Brock Thompson, former Marshall hero. Yeah. I always root for him. The guy is tall. They love him in the red zone. So always 6 possible when they're down there for him.
Snyder, Purdue.
Yeah, pretty much. I think you can fully game stack this up if you want to. Clifford, Washington, Tinsley is solid, and you can come back with O'Connell and Tracy on that side. Another guy I'll be looking at getting here is some Nick Singleton, 4,700. He was a top recruit out of high school last year. The Penn State run game has very, very much struggled the last year or two. So I think they bring him in there and try and get him going. So I'll be looking at him some in tournaments, but I definitely like Tinsley. I think he's going to be very popular. Washington, I'll see some ownership as well. I think Clifford's healthy so far early in the year, so I think I'm going to attack him in some game stacks.
Tony, did you have anything here on Purdue?
Yeah, I think Purdue's going to suck.
Okay.
I don't know. They got a lot of receivers. I don't know. These two Penn State receivers are going to be chalky. Tinsley and Parker Washington both going to get a ton of steam. People love them. Singleton, everyone's got the same narrative. His projection sucks, though. They haven't been able to run the ball in years. I think a lot of bad plays in this game that a lot of people are going to fall for.
And you're not going to fall for it.
Yeah, I mean, everyone loves this game, and I just don't see it at all. I think this game, Penn State, all of last year, people always wanted it, and then this score will be like 13-10, and everyone will hate their lives.
All right. That was a quick that went south quickly, everybody.
I like this game, Holden.
Talk to me about it then.
Well, the reason why is simple. If you're going to play this game, I like give it that game stack, especially if you want to go O'Connell with Clifford and then put Parker Washington, maybe with Thompson, just really unique lineup construction. Well, literally everyone is paying up for double quarterbacks, right? I mean, that's the route that a lot of people are going. So that if you are going to do this, that game stack is really interesting. We know these teams are both pass happy. I just think it's a completely different construction than the field. And then you're going to get all these mid-tier receivers. You can pair it up with those quarterbacks and you still have some good amount of money to get some mid-tier running backs, or maybe go a top-tier running back and then spend down another spot. So I don't think it's a bad combination to go with. I like the over on 53.5. I know I'm on the opposite side of Big T here, but listen, we can't all agree on everything every single time. So I'm definitely arm in arm with Bruce on this one. Like this game a little more than Big T, but hey, I don't know if it's going to end up being on my main team. That's the key. I think I might get the mini stack exposure. The main reason why I'm just trying to figure it all out is I lost that running back value. So now it's kind of messing me up a little bit. I know Big T likes some of these other values that he mentioned earlier, but I don't know. I think this mid-tier build with these top
Mangone, you always like the safe builds though in college. You love your safe builds and running back.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, I don't know which running backs I'm in love with today, right? That's the other problem. I don't think the running backs, I think there's a lot of options that have pretty good safe and like floor ceiling combinations, but there's not ones I just think are total smashes. I thought last week we had a bunch of total smashes. Right here, I don't think we just have these spots. So I am willing to try and go cheaper with one of my running backs. I definitely think I'm playing Brown at 5K, but trying to figure out that RB2 is the real issue that I'm having right now for sure.
Okay. Eastern Illinois and Northern Illinois, the rivalry.
So just want one note, just because I think it changes what I want to do on the slate. One of my buddies, I won't say because I don't know if he wants me to say it, but he sent me some article about Plumlee, and it has me more worried about my boy Plumlee. They're acting like they might not play him the full game, which I didn't think he would, but I'm worried he might only see a half. And they're favored by 42. I trust the source, so I think I'm going to come off Plumlee.
The problem, Tony, is did you love Jordan Travis the other day? I think it's a more similar situation than people think that especially if you play Hooker and you play Plumlee together, you're hoping both of them just absolutely nuke. I just have some kind of fears of that. So that's
Hooker can throw. Plumlee has less paths.
Correct.
He's got to run.
If you play both together, you're rolling the dice twice on these blowout spots. That's just the kind of concern that I have a little bit there. Not to say that I don't like Plumlee. I don't think he's an interesting play, but if you just play every single guy from a blowout spot, my worry with that is I feel like you're going to run into a landmine somewhere. That's kind of the point.
Every game's a blowout spot.
They're not all.
There's two non-blowout spots.
But this is why you can game stack one spot and hope.
The problem is both game stacks might just be terrible. They're both 50-point totals.
It's fair, but that's just the thing to think through with the slate for sure. I don't know. We'll see what the winner ends up having, but I feel like the winner has.
I was excited for Plumlee.
Bruce, you off of Plumlee, or are you still there?
I'll let you know in about 10 minutes, probably, for the end of the show. I was between him and O'Connell anyway, so I may just take the savings.
So O'Connell might be your guy.
Yep.
Okay. Good to hear. You want to talk a little bit about Northern Illinois Eastern?
Kurt's typing random things on my player pool page.
What are you doing, Kurt?
I don't even know what the top header said, but now it says something different because Kurt typed on it.
You just gotta hit it.
I'm not on it right now.
It says you were the one that did it. I went back to let's see who did it on my changes. It said Kurt.
Just hit on.
I haven't had the sheets up since 3 o'clock today. My core's been up since 3. I haven't been in there since.
Maybe you got framed.
I got framed.
It might have been a frame job.
It's not even. Yeah, that app is killed on my phone too.
Oh, Kurt.
Yeah, I don't like a lot from this NIU Eastern Illinois game, other than Ontario Brown. There's not a lot to like because it's probably gonna blow out as well. Eastern Illinois isn't a very good team, so yeah.
Let me just ask you a personal question then. If you're going O'Connell, are you pairing him with Durham? Or are you pairing him with Tracy, or what?
I think I'm going to try and fit Tracy in there if I can. Okay. Durham's probably safer for cash, just because he was he's the leading returning receiver. So, and their other tight end got hurt, so he's pretty much all they have.
Okay,
but yeah, GPPs. I love Tracy there.
Kurt, if you'd stop typing on Tony's player pool, do you have anything to chime in on this Illinois battle of two mid-tier schools?
Yeah, so I'm way overweight on Brown, but I'll be so pissed if Whaley comes in and steals all the touchdowns. I really hope it's not. You're gonna put that out there. It's not gonna happen. Whaley's gonna have 12 for 50, and then our boy Brown's gonna go nuke for us. That's only besides maybe 5% of my player pool. I'm pretty sure that's all I have. I might not even have that. I'm pretty sure that's the only guys I have in this game is the running game. That's it.
Okay, Snyder.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be on the running back there in this game. That's the only thing I'm gonna be at.
Anybody, Mangone, am I missing here? Did you talk about this Eastern Northern game?
Which game?
Eastern Illinois, Northern Illinois.
Yeah, I mean, mainly, I don't love a lot in this game. I think it's mainly just Brown and then just move on. That's kind of my thoughts right now.
Okay, very good. 3 games left then. And we can go to what? Minnesota, New Mexico State. Is that where we are, Bruce?
Yeah.
I don't get to talk about that last game again.
God damn it. Tony, you said something in the middle, and then I thought I wanted to. So please take all the time.
I don't have much to say about it anyway. My favorite running back, though, Ontario Brown. I think he's my favorite running back play of the night. That's all I wanted to say.
Your favorite. Yeah. Ontario, right? Was he 5K at a Northern? All right.
This other team's so bad. I have to play that guy.
New Mexico State, Minnesota. Talk to me here, Bruce. What do you want to dig up from this game?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot here. I don't want to play Tanner Morgan at that price. He's just too vanilla. You can play Ibrahim in GPPs running at the running back spot there. New Mexico State has a value wide receiver that got about 11 targets last week and scored a touchdown. Cordell David. So if you want to play it as a value play, he is 3,700. And then Ottman Bell, I guess for Minnesota, he's always in play. He's a very solid wide receiver. And then Dylan Wright for 3,800. But yeah, these are all GPP plays for me. This game sucks too. So
no bueno. Okay. You want to chime in on this one, Mangone? Do you have any thoughts? Or you already did, didn't you? New Mexico State, Minnesota.
Yeah, I think I talked about Brown. Just Brown or bust. We'll go with
just
that.
It. Brown or bust. Move on. Yeah. Kurt, Brown or bust, or anything else?
Yeah, I'm mute.
Are you on the Minnesota game?
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for Ibrahim. I'm going to play him probably like 25%, which is probably too much. I'll put in Kiwis and he's 10K, but I don't care. Ottman Bell, I'm a sucker for him too. I'm overweight on that guy. And that's all for me in this game. Oh, I think I got some Davis too as a long shot receiver. Yeah. Not that good of a game here.
Tony, is it a garbage game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm rattled from my Plumlee thing. This is always what happens to me, and then people make fun of me because I put stuff up late. I just change things. I just change things all the way up to lock till NBA, and I don't think I'm going to game stack that Pittsburgh game anymore. I just don't like it, and I'm not playing Plumlee anymore. So I needed to find another quarterback. I guess I'll play this Downing dude from La Tech, Air Raid. I don't know. I might play him, but this Minnesota game, the only guy I would play is Ibrahim. I know it's another case. The dude's 9,500. No one wants to pay him. He's coming off the injury. Everyone's acts like they're making some crazy fade by fading him. No one's playing him. So I want to play him. I'm with Kurt here. I'm not saying he's my favorite play of the slate or anything, but he could easily break the slate and he's not going to be high owned. So I'm going to take a chance on him. The 2 best running back plays could easily be Nichols and Ibrahim, and no one's really going to play either one of them. So I like that in college. I'll take some chances there on those guys. But I mean, I'm not forcing him, man. I'm not going crazy with him, but I might play 30% or something. Ibrahim, get above the field at that.
Tony, if I said the highest scoring play on the slate might be low owned, is that something you might be interested in?
Yeah, it's something I might be interested in.
Do you have any worry about Ibrahim coming off that Achilles injury? They're big favorites here. What are they, 35, 38 point favorites here? I mean, what if they give him 10 to 12 carries here to kind of work him back in, and they get Potts?
Who needs an Achilles? I don't.
Potts is really good running back though too. Their backup Potts at 5'4" is
Potts
really
is
good.
terrible though.
It's fair. It's a fair point.
Last year, didn't we?
Potts had
these
Potts
are
averaged
the lazy
140
takes,
yards.
I think these are the lazy takes though, Snyder.
I was just saying, Potts had
I just think they're lazy takes because everyone says the same thing. The injury, no one's playing him, so it's almost like a contrarian. Yeah. You're on the sharp side for sure. What you're saying is the sharp take, but by it being sharp, all of a sudden it turns into a good tournament play because people aren't playing him. So it goes the other way.
Do you think anybody's going to play Potts at all at 5'4"? He averaged like 136 yards. I think he averaged like 136 yards in the 7 games he played last year.
Yeah, I think you can go with him for sure.
He's been bad to me, so I hate him. But I did remember he popped off a couple times last year, so I think that's really sneaky, especially if they limit him. Boom.
Guys, Arizona State, Northern Arizona. If anybody else had anything to say about the Minnesota game, by all means do so. But let's go. We got Northern Arizona, Arizona State. Bruce, if you're going to roll out Daniels, are you going to roll him out? And who would you pair him up with if you would?
Yeah, Arizona State. Are you talking about Daniels, the running back?
Running back. Are we pairing any? Are we stacking this game? Let me just ask it that way.
No. I don't really like this Arizona State team. They lost a lot of guys through the transfer portal. They're really thin. They're just not thin in the right spots. Like, I'd love to play Valladay at that 6,200 price. But yeah, there's a couple other running backs there too. It's not a horrible spot, to be honest, because you could always get 15, 16 carries and smash. So he's definitely a GPP play. There was some receivers on the other side of this that were okay, but yeah, I just this game is just terrible. I don't like these late night games really.
Okay, you'll get rid of that one. Mangone, any interest in Northern Arizona versus Arizona State?
I want to like Valladay, but I don't think I can get behind it. But that's the only guy I'm really kind of considering. I know Henry Jones could definitely get the job done, but I just don't think I'm going to go there. Just think I'm kind of in on some other spots today.
Okay. What about you, Snyder? Any Northern versus Arizona State?
Yeah, I don't mind going to Jones or Valladay here. I think Valladay has some big games. He comes into a much better situation. I mean, I think they should just smash these guys, should blow the doors off. So I think there's going to be some fantasy points here. It's a later game, so maybe it does get lower ownership. People are wanting to play the earlier guys so they can watch him more. So I'm going to be on some Jones and Valladay. Maybe like a punt receiver to stack with Jones if I wanted to. It'd be like a Giovanni Sanders or something at 3.3K.
Okay.
Can I speak to you a quick question? Did you see anything on the receivers and Baker because obviously you talked about Plumlee. Is there anything on that? Because that could be important information when trying to figure some stuff out.
Yeah, no, I'm good with Baker still because he's cheap. I'm basically good with all their cheaper guys still. The only reason I don't like Plumlee is just if they just kill him, he's just not going to play the second half. Baker's still so cheap that you only need one play from him anyways.
Correct. I'm just figured I'd ask. I think
he's not like he was a total lock for me when I was playing Plumlee. He's not like a mortal lock for me anymore, but I still I'm gonna like him a lot.
Also, another thing to mention too, guys, we got like 15 minutes coming up to lock. And if for me, like some of my construction stuff got messed up with what I was thinking of doing, you can backload a little bit. You don't have to load up on the first games completely. If you want to just get a little bit of exposure to it and then make some adjustments, it's a great way to do it too. And there could be news that comes that could really change the slate that you don't know about. I mean, it's week 1. So just worth mentioning that if you want to do that, I'm not going to fade the early spot, but I am considering kind of backloading some of this stuff here just to kind of help myself a little bit out.
Okay. Tony, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to play Emery. I think he's going to crush and no one's going to play him either. So I like that. I like he's a runner, right, Bruce? Yeah. He's the big dude from Florida, right?
Yep.
Emery Jones, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to freaking crush. And I'm just going to move my Plumlee to Emery on my main team.
So you're not down with that, Bruce?
No, he's fine. And
Bruce made fun of him and I didn't hear it. Oh,
no, he just didn't like the game. He didn't want to.
I can't come off another quarterback. You guys making fun of all my plays.
No.
He has a top rush grade on the slate. So, he could definitely get there. And
he might legit be like 10% owned too. Like no one is going to play him.
Maybe less.
Yeah. Like even less, maybe.
I agree.
Who just said they agreed?
Me.
Someone smart.
Perk.
Snyder.
The guys last name is Jones. I'm definitely on board.
All right. We got our last one. We got Cal Poly, the Mustangs. against the Fresno State Bulldogs. Before we give you the game breakdown, the final breakdown here, I will give you the final spiel. Like button would be great. 300 watching, 102 likes. Let's see. It doesn't take much for you to do this to make us happy. Second of all, 15% off the lifetime of your subscription. This is the best code you're going to get for Run Pure. Coming up on NFL season, if you want our guys' cores behind the scenes, do you want access to Discord to talk to all of our coordinators? You get them all. You get the core plays, Big T's whole player pool. I got that sitting up in front of me right now. You get that and a whole bunch more. So great time to sign up right now. runpuresports.com, NFL 15% off the lifetime of your subscription. Let's go. Cal Poly and Fresno. I didn't know Cal Poly had a football team, Bruce. I'm going to be honest with you.
You are on the same boat as me.
Yeah.
I also did not know that.
Good for them. Is there anywhere we can go to in this game?
Just Mims, the running back for Fresno. He's always solid. If it somehow stays close, which I don't think is going to happen, the quarterback Hainer is one of the top passers in the country. And he also has Jalen Cropper, who could get some ownership. He's moving from the slot to the outside. So that should give him more upside at least.
Okay.
So, and he's really fast. He's fun to watch. It'll be a fun game to watch anyway.
Mangone, thoughts on the nightcap, the last game on the slate?
Hold on, which game is it?
That would be the Cal Poly Fresno State game, my friend.
I mean, yeah, Mims is in play, Cropper's in play, but I don't know. I kind of just when I look at it, I lean Tillman maybe over him. I think Mims is fine. You can make an argument that hey, their quarterback Hainer, he could just put up a lopsided score just to kind of pour it on and have a big game to kick things off. I mean, he's a very talented quarterback. Fresno State should have a pretty good year. So sometimes they pad stat a little bit, but you do worry about him getting pulled, obviously, as well. So my lean is Mims as being my favorite. Don't hate Cropper as a pivot off of Tillman, but I went over him.
Okay. Snyder, want to chime in on the last game of the night?
I don't really have much in this game. I do like Mims. I'm going to be overweight on him. I'm going to have maybe some with Cropper and Hainer, but I'm going to be definitely overweight on Mims. I think he could just smash these guys here. He may not get the full workload, but I still think he's got upside to hit 200 yards in this game and 2 or 3 touchdowns. So definitely on Mims in this game.
All right, Tony, last game of the night. We digging up anything tonight?
Yeah, so I'm with these guys. I mean, I didn't even know Cal Poly had a football team. They got to be really bad. Like a lot of these games, it's just a matter of how much you can get out of. Fresno is going to be good this year, I think, too. I like these players a lot. I just don't know if this is the spot. I'll have a little bit in my 150 of Hainer and Mims, but, man, I don't feel great about it. So, yeah.
Not so much. All right,
they
guys.
definitely have upside, though. That's the scary part about this slate. So first game of the year, maybe there's some rust from some teams. There's 11 games tonight. 1 or 2 of these games that are blowouts could stay close. And, you could see some smash spots from some of these guys. Imagine if Cal Poly can score the same thing I said for the one game. If they can somehow score 3 touchdowns somehow, which they probably won't. I agree. We all agree. But if they somehow can, these Fresno guys are going to smash. So don't be afraid to game stack some spots in tournaments. Don't be afraid of it. I'm telling you.
Okay. Any final thoughts here, Bruce?
No. Just remember that there is a late slate. If the main goes poorly and the contests look great. So.
Oh, real quick, guys, I do want to ask you about salary. Does it matter here, Tony? Leaving salary, using it all?
I wouldn't leave salary as much on a slate like this. There's plenty of places you can go up. Some slates there will be, but here you got just the running backs, for example. You can just go up to somebody. There's always somewhere you can go up on a slate like this.
It's good to know. Okay, guys. Do you want to stay on till lock, guys, or did we get this done? I feel like
we're good.
We got to get our own stuff. That was kind of fun, though. We did almost an hour and a half on college football. It was great hanging out with you guys, except for the first 2 minutes when Tony got upset. But that's
you hurt my feelings. That was very hurtful, what you started out with.
I've got a good therapist in Cincinnati. She's going to take care of you in more ways than one. For Bruce, it's wonderful to see you, my friend. Mangone, Fat Rubio, aka Kurt, you're looking sexy, man. I think you look great. You too, Snyder. For Big T and our boy Pumacon behind the scenes. Get us out of here, Simon.